Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Was Betrayed and Became Bray Wyatt The Fiend movie. Before we start, please go support KingCrownedClown for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. Let him in. Nearly 6 months have passed since the biblical war of biblical factions against those who opposed harmony and craved the smell of war. My name is not entirely important for now. I'll just say let him in and we won't forget. I was a war hero. But I didn't care if they took credit for what I did. Everyone in this world is greedy. Even angels crave power, and sometimes they break the rules they've imposed on themselves. No one congratulated me on my achievements. No one took a minute to look at me and tell me, "Are you okay?" No one came when I needed them most. Absolutely no one comes near unless they need something. My supposed rival, the one I thought was my friend, was taking over my battle achievements. My ex-brother-in-law. He said that he and some other ex-friends of mine were the ones who defeated the Trihexa. My ex-loves. They claimed to love me, but they were just fakers and they left me behind. My so-called parents. They approached me for many things. Calling me useless and kicking me out of the house. My so-called friends. They never reached out to me when I needed it most. Greg, I don't want to carry this pain anymore. Relax. I'll help you ease your pain. You'll stop feeling all the bad feelings. You swear it? I swear. I'll tell you what to do. You understand. Hours later. Hag. Issei was bleeding and no one was by his side to help him. Let him in. 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 Resist, Issei. It hurts, Drag. Just hold on a little while and everything that hurts you will stop being felt. Hahaha. One day after what I've already done. Issei was walking to school. According to that ritual, it would erase some kind of feeling, but right now, Issei is as he's always been, Drake said in his thoughts. Issei walks to his classroom and is met with a smile. I'm sure they're fine, buddy. Issei smiles and says. Of course. Because I can be whatever I want to be, putting on a straight face. But then he put on a smile. Or is it that do you want to see my secret? Greg, I don't say anything but. Issei was just calm like any other day at school. Let him in. Night fell in Kuo. Everything was normal until deep in the forest, people's screams of agony were heard. This is so cool. Escaping the underworld just to kill humans is so cool while cutting off a man's head. He stopped what he was doing when he heard laughter. Who's there? But what he saw left him in shock. Who are you? But the being did not respond. In that case I'll have to kill you, you've already seen my face. A few minutes later. Please let me go. I promise you'll never see me again. I'm sorry. You've seen my face. Putting the demon who said the same thing a few moments ago in check. But he didn't count on him brutally breaking her neck. The laugh filled the whole Kuo. Let me in. See you in hell. Ahahahaha. Firefly Funhouse. No one had believed the new look of the new Issei. He was happier with others. He helped without asking for anything in return. He redeemed his days of perversion by helping those he used to spy on. The first thing was to make a public apology and swear that he would help make the school better. After 1 week he improved in every way. Not having support from anyone made him see reality better and he became someone you can call a good person. It was afternoon and he had stayed to clean his classroom. This was already over, so he sat on a bench and thought. It's been a while since my manager Ravel Phoenix stopped taking charge of my show. 2 days ago the producer called me and said my new season date was in 2 days. What am I going to do with that bad manager? He said, smiling. I know. 1 day later. The letter arrived at the Phoenix compound. Ravel's mother took a look and was amazed by the content. Letter to Ravel Phoenix from Haidu Issei. Irop I Dragon Manager. I appreciate your months of support on the show. Therefore, I am letting you know that your help will no longer be required. Given the lack of communication with me and possible neglect in your duties as manager. I must thank you for your services. Your settlement will be sent by the end of the day. Have a nice day. Sincerely, Haidu Issei. End of letter. His mother read it and simply didn't know what to say. Her protector had fired her for being someone incapable of doing her duties, and the worst thing was how she would take it. Ravel, what did you do? Later that same day. Issei arrived at the underworld. He went straight to talk to the director of his program to propose a change. At first he refused, but when he saw that it was the same hero who saved his life a long time ago, he complied with his request. Issei was happy. Now all that was left was to record, and that same night his new image of Haidu Issei would be broadcast. Hours later. People looked around upon hearing a new introduction. The music was pleasant. When the broadcast ended, everyone was surprised by the change in their hero. But the most amazing thing was that he himself accepted his past mistakes and how he cut off his own head that was depicted on a poster. But she certainly shook the world by revealing that she had given up her breast perversion. There was a moment when that image shook them and made them feel scary. And it only left the supernatural world wanting to see his new show even more. The Gelato Firefly Funhouse. Let him in. The news spread worldwide. Firefly Funhouse was a hit. Barasso N ratings.tv. Superando Alamau Leviathan. The Sekir'Ute's new transformation was quite shocking. There were times when it was terrifying, but that was the nature of demons. Seeing things invade their minds. But above all, the new Haidu Issei had brought new changes to all beings. Especially the heroes who defeated the Trihexa. Night in Kuo. The macabre laughter encompassed a great fear of its surroundings. This demon was walking with something that illuminated every step he took. It looked like a flashlight. But if you look closely, it looked like a head or something similar. That looked terrifying, like a certain chestnut tree. And judging by the look in the flashlight, it showed signs of having suffered. It was terrifying. It was late at night that this demon was searching for something. He followed this path and reached his destination. It was an abandoned winery. This one came in. As we walked, it lit up and there were many people tied up. They looked hurt. Upon seeing the creature, they began to struggle. They were overcome with fear just by seeing him again. This one approached one. He grabbed him by the neck. He took the rope out of his mouth. This I speak and pronounce. Deity. This demon laughed and said. Demons don't ask for mercy and I'm tired of showing it before. So he dies. Ha ha ha. Please, I was just having fun. Muri. Attentii. Crack. He saw this one on the ground, already lifeless. Everyone else started screaming in terror. Dean grabbed his flashlight and walked. They are of no use to me anymore. I remember and you recover. So don't suffer anymore and die. At that moment the fiend pulled a rope and everyone began to rise while the rope suffocated them. To the point where they stopped fighting to survive. This river as it left that abandoned place. Vinpav. Greg had already noticed it. Something happened the moment Issei performed the ritual. He was supposed to be unable to feel anything at this point. But he can feel it. His emotions are still the same. He hasn't even taken the time to ask about his fiancée or any of his other partners. Something very dark awoke in the. I don't know what happens at night. But at those moments, something dark invades the outside and I don't know what's happening. Our leader, Fear. For a while now, I've been stealing some of Issei's achievements since the faction war. And truth be told, I felt good about that moment. All that attention, that glory, and all the women who chased after me. It was the best part. Maybe I'm a bad friend. Then he hears a low voice speak. Everyone forgets. But we never. Let him in, let me in. I quickly looked for the person responsible for that voice. Anyway, in 2 days I'll be promoted to upper class, given my war achievements. Sajji smiles. If they give me a choice. I'll ask for Asia-chan and Arena-chan. To be my partners. I don't know why they chose Haidu, since I'm better than him. He said, laughing somewhat arrogantly. They live far away from there. Dahaja. Let him and Sajji. Days later. For a while. The voice began to follow Genshuru Sajji everywhere. That voice repeated 1,000 times. Let him in. Let him in. Let him in. Let him in. During that time he began to feel alert in every way. I tried to calm his anxieties through all kinds of means. Vinpav. Issei was in the middle of a conversation with his partner Dreg. But what about your friends? But they love you. But what about your other friends? Every word Issei said was true. People lie throughout time. You'll be alone. They'll need you if they want anything. Weak people have always followed the strong. Our, fear, leader. Those 3 phrases are what everyone is looking for. But you know something, Dreg. Everyone forgets those things. But he doesn't. He remembers everything perfectly. What's more, now he's a little upset and wants something. Dreg felt a deep fear. Let him in, that's what Dreg heard before disappearing inside Issei. The fiend started walking. Under the night light. Elsewhere. Sajji was walking very close to the city. When he heard some voices. Hey, it looks like they want to try to grape someone. He began to approach the place where the voice had come from and saw a man cornering a girl. Sajji got upset and was going to act. When suddenly he hears footsteps of another person approaching the scene. So Sajji went into hiding. But what he saw terrified him. Fiend appeared behind the man. He grabbed him by the neck, leaving the man unaware. Fiend began to choke the man. Until he was out of breath, but then he grabbed him by the neck and Fiend smiled and noticed another presence. He looked at him and started to approach. Tojo fell to the ground and began to shake. Fiend approached him and smiled. Sajji couldn't say a word. Fear prevented him from doing anything. Not even Vitra could do anything against Fiend. He looks at it and says, "Let him in." Then he started laughing. Soon he got up from the ground, took his flashlight and left. Not without first whispering in his ear. "People forget, but we don't. I know who you are and what you did." Sajji is terrified when he hears the following. Genshuru Sajji. He walks away, leaving a terrified Sajji. Firefly Funhouse. It was daytime in Kuo, and our kind and bright protagonist was taking a walk through the streets of Kuo. Everyone who saw Issei greeted him. For several days now, Issei has become a part of the community where he lived. From the moment he arrived, he introduced himself to his neighbors and little by little he began to get along with everyone. He helped people, every day of the week he volunteered to clean parks, streets, etc. Since he arrived, you could say Issei has become someone important in his community. He not only helps those in need, but he does so without receiving anything in return. That's part of who he is now. Being someone new. Issei walked, receiving greetings from everyone. Whether they were children, older adults, women, or men. On several occasions, he's been invited to go partying with his neighbors. But he declines, given that he's also a good student now and wants to focus on that for the time being. Issei was walking to the supermarket to do his weekly shopping. This one came and bought what was needed. After a while, he receives a message. Producer. Issei-sama is recording Firefly Funhouse today. Recording starts in an hour. Sincerely, producer. PDT. Your show was the most watched this week. If you keep it up, you'll be #1 again. Issei smiles and starts to go home to then go to the underworld to record. He laughs and starts humming. A little while later. Issei greets the audience. This one looks at himself and says. "You know, I like to paint. Do you know why?" He approaches and hears Sister Abigail. "But you forgive me, right, seeing your audience?" Which screams and says. "Yes." Issei smiles and decides to let Sister Abigail rest. Sociopath is the word of the day. You're right, rambling rabbit. Issei gets up and looks at the camera. Issei smiles and greets all his audience. He starts giving autographs and posing for photos. Issei-sama. But he hears a voice and looks back. He smiles and leaves his fans and walks over to the person who called him. Ravel-chan, how are you? Issei smiles at the former manager. She looks at him a little sadly. Something's wrong, he said worriedly. I don't know what to say to Issei-sama. I promised to be the best manager and I failed him. Don't worry, Issei smiles. I'm also sorry about the letter, I should have said it in person. Ravel is surprised and says. What letter? Issei says. You didn't get any letter. No. Yes. Ravel, you'd better go home and ask about it. Should I be worried? No, Luz, you tell me. Oops, sorry Ravel. The producer wants my presence. See you soon and Issei is leaving. Letter? What letter, he said in doubt. I am Sei. Issei-sama. Meyer. He watches and sees that his show has gotten more views and that the merchandise is through the roof. 2 programs and you're back on top. Congratulations. Issei smiles and they continue talking about them. Some time later. Ravel Phoenix spoke to her mother, who had no choice but to give her the letter that Issei mentioned. She started to cry when she read it. I'm sorry, Ravel, but you had obligations that you evaded. I'm sorry. I know. Sniff. I thought that. Sniff. Demon comes for you. Since that encounter with Fiend. He wanted to be brave for any situation that presented itself. But no matter how much she did. She remembered that moment when he appeared. And he made him see what true terror was. He hasn't slept since. Serve. Hear a voice. Let him in. Who are you? Iwi wowie. Leave me alone. People forget, but I don't, Sajji, let him in. Leave me alone. I'll do whatever. Just let me in, Sajji. Leave me alone. Sajji woke up very scared. He was finally able to sleep, but once again he invaded his mind. Sajji Laura. Finpav. Issei walked straight to school. But he notices Sajji and smiles. He approaches him and surprises him. Sajji, he said, jumping behind him. Sajji reacted somewhat violently and accidentally hit Issei in the face. The people who saw this were upset. Issei went to surprise his friend, but the latter reacted violently and attacked him. People quickly helped Issei get up. Everyone noticed how blood was coming out of his nose. Everyone looked at Sajji badly. He felt ashamed and just walked out. Without apologizing. Are you okay, Haidu-kun? The other said worriedly. I'm fine, I didn't think he would act so violently. Don't worry, everyone saw what happened here. We'll report it to the council and punish him. For now, go to the infirmary. Thank you for your help. And Issei walks. Iwi Rias Day. A little while later. Boardroom. Sajji, we received a report that you hit some students this morning. And it turns out that student is Haidu Issei. Do you have any idea how many came here to complain? Sona said angrily. No. Well, a quarter of the school came. Not only did you hit a student but they started questioning the board. Sajji, Issei Haidu is someone who has made a good reputation here, in case you didn't know. They apologized to him. Too. TSK. It wasn't my fault, it was stupid Issei who surprised me like that. When I become upper class tomorrow, I'll make my entourage. Being in this is boring. He was walking down the halls. When suddenly the school went dark. He became alert when he heard footsteps in the area. Serve. He gets terrified and looks around. Who's there? He said fearfully. You just have to let me in. Let me? Sajji, I know what you did and we believe that you are a bad person who should be punished. Please. Everything calm down, he said calmly. But, it turned red around him. He looks around and sees someone approaching him. Little by little he showed who he was. Sajji panicked and tried to run, but his legs wouldn't give him any more. He fell back and closed his eyes. Thinking it was a hallucination. He soon opened them and was terrified by what he saw. Let him in Sajji. Hi, shouted Sajji in the middle of the hallway. He watches and sees how everything was a hallucination. He noticed and was sweating. He saw that he was a step away from Issei's classroom. So he headed to the bathroom to wipe off the sweat. This guy came and threw water on his face. What's going on? He notices that if he's reflected in the mirror, he'll look at him. He gets terrified. But the worst was when he saw the fiend grab him by the neck until he died. Sajji ran off. Seeing the fiend, he pointed at him and said. The demon comes for you. Sajji ran out of the bathroom. Issei was in class. He noticed they were over and left. He saw the lights of his lover Ria's Gremory's occult club. He hadn't seen her in a long time. He was curious, but someone also wanted to go out and cause a ruckus. Issei and better leave. The cult club. Rias was smiling. The other members were smiling too, as things were going their way. Elsewhere. Are you sure that's what you want, Voli? That's right, Haidodu Issei has always been a complete nobody. Besides, people gave me credit. Why would I worry about that idiot? But Issei Naya is your friend. You too, Kuroka. He did a lot for you. I don't care what that idiot did for me. I didn't ask him to do it. But thanks to him they stopped seeing us as terrorists. Jump. Take care of yourself. Fiend. Let him in, Sajji. Let him in, Sajji. Ha ha ha. The devil is coming for you, Sajji. No matter how far you hide, I like to hunt my prey slowly and I'll enjoy your suffering until the very end. Run if you can. I'll always find you and I'll punish you for all the evil you've done. Please leave me alone, cried Sajji. I'm sorry, but I won't do that. I'll punish you. Sajji looks into his eyes and laughs. See you later, Sajji. Iwi wowie. Elsewhere there. In the chambers of a certain Nordic. Odin was sleeping. But start dreaming. Odin's dream. In the depths of the underworld a battle was being fought. Hag. Hold on Azazel, I'll help you. Don't run away, that thing rampaged through here. Tell the others that it's coming back. Who came back? The Trihexa. That's when Odin gets scared. Wow. He set him free. Who? Rest of him didn't die. That was a clone. The real one is alive and controlling him. Warn everyone and tell them to prepare. Ask the security for help. He's the one who can defeat him. Yo. Do it and go already, my time is running out. Then they see the Trihexa coming towards them. Odin wakes up agitated. That was a premonition. Trihexa, Rias. Issei. He calls his subordinates and wants a faction meeting as soon as possible. Some time later. That's all my fireflies. And you know. Bye. And out. Issei Sonri. It was a good show, he says, while being congratulated by the cast. Issei smiles and walks to greet his fans. This one sees people making their way through. This one is surprised and observes. Issei watches the faction leaders walk towards him. Hello Issei-kun, the Mayu greeted. Issei smiles and approaches them to greet them. Good show kid, said Azazel. Thanks. But I don't think they came to say hello, or am I mistaken? No. There are problems and we need you to come with us. Okay, give me some change and we'll go. Issei comes in and changes. He looks in the mirror and sees the fiend reflected. He resists and says. We can't do it now. Hold on a little longer. Phew, that was easy. He smiles and leaves, then goes with the leaders. Minutes later. Issei entered the room and there he saw the remaining leaders. The three mass with Xerzich, Archangel and other leaders. The angels, next to the beautiful Gabriel. It was the first time Issei saw her and the rumors that she is the most beautiful were true. From the Asgardians to Thor and his escorts. Okay. We're all here. Issei sit down. This one walks and sits down. Odin has an announcement to make. Minutes later. I won't fight, said Issei, surprising everyone in the room. Everyone is shocked and says why. My days of fighting are over. Now I just want to enjoy my life in peace. Boy, stop joking. I'm not kidding, dude. Besides, we don't know if your dream was actually true or false. Issei-kun, we're asking for your help. Please consider it. I'm sorry, Mayu-sama. But I won't fight. Issei gets up and walks towards the exit. Before closing the door, he turns to look at them and says. After all, you were the ones who defeated the Trihexa. I don't see why you need me. According to you, you were the ones who did everything. Issei leaves, leaving everyone in check. Issei had just rejected and humiliated everyone. Issei walks through the hallways. He staggers. He grabs his face and starts laughing. Ha 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 ha. Iwi wowie. Tensions. That decision by Issei towards the alliance was something that no one expected. They thought that because he was Issei, he would quickly accept. But it was quite the opposite. Not only did he refuse to participate in a possible war, but he also accused everyone there of fighting, claiming he was the one who stole his achievements. It's more. After all, you were the ones who defeated the Trihexa. It was a wake-up call. You got carried away by power and the praise of your people, making you forget reality. You never gave him credit for what he did for you. They realized that others who didn't even participate took home achievements for this very reason. Issei now takes revenge like that. It was a kind of mind game. Go for it. He wanted to see them in despair. He wanted to see them humiliated. He wanted to see them liars. He wanted to make them look like idiots to their people. He wanted to see them beg for his help. He wanted to see them earn everyone's hatred. Eck. But above all, make them pay indirectly for their sins. Days later. Sometimes painting brings out the best in you. Painting doesn't just relax you. It expresses your feelings. For example. Come on. This means burn your mind and bring out your true self. Let's put it on the wall. Sometimes painting relaxes you and sometimes it helps you kill time. We are the masters of our lives. Because otherwise they sometimes explode and we could harm those close to us. That's why my fireflies. Paint and unleash your wild side. Express it in painting. We are all free. Sometimes you will feel different. I understand them. Why? So don't be afraid of what you are and accept yourself as you are. Goodbye my fireflies and don't forget. Issei walks towards his audience and greets. A little while later. Fiend walked through the darkest streets of Kuo. For days, there hadn't been any interaction with the people who misbehaved at night. Regularly Fiend would like to kill someone today. Sajji has been on the verge of insanity for days. Just a little more and he'll snap. The best thing would be to give him a push on the day of his high-class ceremony. Elsewhere. If that boy doesn't participate, we're lost. Don't worry. The White Dragon Emperor is on our side, said Xerzich. But the indicator is the. Don't worry. The Red Dragon is essential in the fight. Since it doubled its power in the war, we were unstoppable. Without it, we won't be able to, Odin said. Odin is right. Only he can, more than anyone, defeat him. In his dream, he was the key to fighting that beast. This is a warning call from Xerzich. After the war we didn't give him credit for what he did or any kind of gratitude. But. He was the one who did everything. Not only that, we almost saved her if it weren't for him and his sacred art that increased our power. Ha ha ha. Fiend laughed, he had just found his new victim. The boy was never supposed to want praise. Fiend looks at how he is laughing arrogantly at the situation of seeing himself surrounded by beautiful women who ask for something from the White Dragon that defeated the Trihexa. I was supposed to love that girl. What was her name? But. Ha ha ha. You'll be the next Voli Lucifer. Fiend walks in another direction. It doesn't matter. I was forgiven, but you changed. You show no remorse toward the people who did so much for you. Iwi wui Voli. Voli Lucifer. It all started when people started praising me. My ego grew and I took ownership that wasn't mine. I wanted to talk. But all that attention made me feel superior to him for a moment. As time went by I felt better and every time I did or said something. It was gratifying and very satisfying. There was no turning back now. I would take over as pillar of the factions and one day I would take everything he wanted. Let him in. Issei was walking through the school. As the days go by. His other self has enjoyed many things. Some of those would be evil, death, punishment, justice, and above all, kill with your own hands those who will not be forgiven. The knowledge that he could kill without remorse caused the fiend to find every drop of blood shed a source of great satisfaction. If anything had once made him human, now with every kill, it made him special. Those who would not be forgiven was satisfactory. Sajji was one of the people who always screwed up her life after the Trihexa. And knowing that he longed to steal Asia, Irina, and Xenovia, it was unforgivable. Especially for a dragon. So measures were taken to damage it too much. It was almost time to put him out of his misery. But for that scenario, many must have remembered his fall. The Dragon King Vitra. The one who was pathetic. Everyone will remember Sajji as the jester demon. It was night in Kuo. Issei was in his room sleeping. This one had a dream. Issei's dream. He walked calmly through the streets. He turned a corner. That's when he saw Voli, Sajji and others. Having fun. Issei sees Harian. Issei listened and what he heard made him angry. And tell me Sajji. When you are upper class what will you do? If I can choose a fiancé. The Mayu said no matter what. I deserve better. So I'll ask that my partners be the tender Asia, Irina and Xenovia. But what about Issei? That garbage. They've never done anything with them and I think they've gotten tired of waiting. Because they wouldn't want to be with someone better than Issei. And you, Voli. What will you do when you become the new piler? I'll have Haidu killed. I'll find a way to keep what makes him special. And that's it. Having the people you love the most. I mean, his girls. Exact. I never would have done this before. But I'm not the same as I used to be. I want to make him pathetic. See exactly his look when he sees me taking his women away from him. You're bad, Voli. I know. That makes me a demon. A demon. So that's what it was about. Issei smiles and something red covered him. Let's see what a demon does to you. At that moment, multiple agonizing screams stopped as they heard something crash. Fiend was walking with something in his hand. It looked like a head. And if you looked closely, that head was from Voli Lucifer. End of dream. Issei woke up with a big smile on his face. Let the games begin. Let him and Voli. Elsewhere. What's up Voli? Nothing. I felt a draft that took me by surprise. Just come sleep with us. He laughs and goes to bed. Jealousy is the best revenge. Hey Yui Wowie. You know. Today we have a special guest. People think, who is it about? She is a magic girl. The children get excited. She is a great person and a great friend who has always supported me. She hasn't been able to see me for a while because she has her homework. But you know. I invited her and she agreed to come today. A round of applause for Lavinia Rinai. Everyone cheered for the person Issei named. Nice to meet you Issei-chan, I see you've changed. Issei Sonri. She's your girlfriend. They both laugh and say. No, we're just friends. Do you like someone, Miss Rinai? Said a little girl. She lowers her head and says. Yes. But that person is too busy with too many women to realize what I feel. Issei was saddened by that. That person was Voli, but for some time now fame has gone to his head and since then he has been sleeping with many women. One day he ran into Rinai. She wanted to go to Voli to confess. He helped her and did a lot to make her confession reciprocate. But not everything went well for her. Well, when she got to Voli's house, she looked out the window and her heart broke when she saw him having sex with two girls. She disappeared for a while after that. She only just reappeared after Issei contacted her. Hours later. You feel fine, Issei said to Rinai. Yes, don't worry Issei-chan. I know how you feel. I'm sorry about what happened 6 months ago. If I could turn back time and prevent you from seeing that, I would. Don't worry Issei-chan. She takes his hands. Until. Haidu. He turns around and sees Voli. Virginia-kun said Rinai letting go of this one's hands. He looked on with some anger as he saw Issei and the man he loves. Together. Holding hands. This one speaks and says. What a coincidence I found them. Maybe they also met or. It's a date. He turns around and sees Rinai. She had just said she was on a date with Issei. Something that hurt him. Oh, sorry. I hope I'm not interrupting. Don't worry, Kun. I see you're busy too. Just then two girls came and took him by the arms. Hakuryuko-sama. Come with us. Rinai sighs. They don't even know her name. So that's what it's about. Let's go Issei-kun got up Rinai and took Issei by the hands. Goodbye, Kun, and they both leave. As he leaves, Issei looks at him for a second and he smiles maliciously. Voli froze when he saw that smile. Some time later. I'm sorry if I bothered you, Kun. Don't worry. I know what you wanted to do and I'm okay with it. Thank you. Well, I'll go to a hotel and leave tomorrow. If you want, you can stay home. Hey. There won't be any problems with Rias and the others. I no longer live with my parents, nor with them. He explained to you on the way. Belo Da'ahi. That bastard. Who do you think you are, taking my love away from me, you filthy, low-class human? Voli, I told you. You left things unfinished with Renai a long time ago. You had a special moment and you ruined it just by having Hex with those demons. You ruined it from the start. But that human imbecile in her. Voli, you let Renai go a long time ago, you wouldn't have known about her if you hadn't seen her. But I. If you want to have it, fight. Soon I'll be the new pillar of the alliance. And when that happens, I'll take everything from Heimdall. If I have to get my hands dirty, I will. But I swear I'll take away what he loves. Let him in. His quick turns. But there was no one. What's up, Voli? You heard it. What thing? Voli, you've been acting strange for a few days. Something's wrong. No, it's just your imagination. Okay. See you hell. Voli Lucifer. I had already met with several of the faction leaders. When they mentioned the prophecy that Odin mentioned in his dream. I thought. I don't need anyone to help me. I can do it myself. But everything was ruined when they said that the damn Haidu Issei was the only one who could face him. I boiled in rage, anger, jealousy, envy. Is this universe about that reincarnated human? I spoke and said. I am the strongest white emperor dragon of this generation. I'll show you how strong I've become these past few months. Everyone was surprised by my words. They all followed me to a place where I could let loose without any restrictions. Some time later. I saw their faces in shock. I had just put a big difference between them and me. So they still need Haidu Issei's help. Everyone changed their minds and accepted. You win, Voli. Dear Zerzich Lucifer. I, Michael, leader of heaven. I Azazel, ruler of Gregory. I Odinson, father of all. The four of us together decided that you, Voli Lucifer, will be the new pillar of the factions. From today on, Haidu Issei is no longer one. Voli laughed arrogantly, now he's taken that away from Issei. There was just one more thing missing. He laughed and said. In that case, can I ask for something now that I'm his pillar? They nod. So I want you to. Some time later. Issei had just left class. He was walking down the halls. This one came to a room, since the lights were still on. He looked out and what he saw made him smile. Sajji was taking some pills. She looked at him closely and noticed he had dark circles under his eyes, unkempt hair, and possibly weight gain. He probably hasn't slept well, to the point where he's eating for pleasure. He neglects his hygiene and now avoids sleeping. How far has he gone to avoid having bad dreams? Issei behind the door says in another voice. Let him in, Sajji. AI screams were heard from the living room. Issei walks to his house. Before arriving, he meets Renai again. He approaches and notices her sad face. He approaches him and says. Something happened, Renai-san. Issei, something happened and I don't know how you'll take it. He thinks about what could have happened for him to be like this. This one doesn't give any turns to things and makes her go to her house. Minutes later. So that's what it was all about. Sorry, Va-kun, it was never like this. Or rather, it didn't shine through before who he was. Issei-chan, yo. Don't worry, to tell the truth, being the pillar was going to be a burden for me. I'll explain. Imagine if everyone depends on you. Having to go to meetings with one faction all the time. Like an ambassador. That would distance me from everything. Imagine if I had a family and I, being a pillar of all the factions, would distance myself from them. Can you imagine what would happen? So you're happy that happened. You know what the best part of all this is? What is it? That Voli has no idea what awaits him. Issei starts laughing. They both laugh. Vinpav. No, don't cry alone. What's up, Asia-chan? Do you think Issei-san isn't mad at us for leaving him all this time? What things you say. We did this for love. Now we can please him and everything. Tell me you're worth it. Ha. Everything is mine now, stupid Haidu. Your position and your women will soon be mine. All I need is something to pin on you. Ajajajajaj. Let him in, Voli. He turns around and someone puts their hand in his mouth, causing him to suffocate. Making him fall unconscious. Let the games begin. See you in the hell. I.e. Dreams come true sometimes. Let him in. The moment he turned, something got into his mouth and before he could do anything he had already fallen unconscious. What is this place? Not so much infinite darkness. Where am I? At that moment he tried to use his powers. But when he did so, it was ineffective because when he did that, an electric current invaded him and he moaned in pain. Who's there? If I get out of here I'll rip your damn head off and drink from there with your damn skull in hand. But nothing. No sound, no answers. But. Lit him and Voli. In the distance it lit up. Out of nowhere a great wave of fire illuminated it. Voli felt a deep fear upon coming into contact with his penetrating gaze. Who are you and what am I doing here? People forget but I don't. Lit him and Voli. Let the darkness invade you. Let me in. He just gulped and looked at him. Or rather, it was in front of him. He stroked her head, but not in a caressing way but more like when you scold someone and you know deep down that they are going to hit you. At that moment he is grabbed by the hair and does something he didn't expect. He made him turn around and look at the background. The day he saw Rinai again his heart smiled. He saw the memories of that day. That day he saw her with him. From one moment to the next I shouted for her to get away from Issei. He thought this was a dream and that she would not go into his house with him. Although I knew that he had never taken steps with his harem, much less with his self-proclaimed wife as he says. But dreams are sometimes real. He watched their conversation. He saw her cry for him. Something that hurt him. But above all. Seeing her vulnerable. Like that time he saw her and noticed that laugh she gave him. He saw her again. By chance. Voli never knew what to do with you. He preferred to sleep with other women rather than go with you. You know, the first time I met you I was shocked by the size of your breasts and above all. Stunned by your beauty and kindness in front of friends or colleagues. I don't understand what made Voli choose someone other than you. Rinai, who was crying, stopped crying only to laugh and suddenly take his cheek and squeeze it with some force, causing Issei to meow in pain. But you know, thank you for listening to me. She was still holding his cheek. But she wasn't squeezing it, she was caressing it. I know I could never be there for you when you laughed and the other girls left or when all this happened. But when I was born and it broke my heart, you were there for me. I know I had no right to do anything to Voli, but it still hurt. Just for this occasion I will thank you properly. No. 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 Rinai, no, you know. That was my first kiss. She was going to do something, but Issei stopped her hand. As she didn't feel malice for Issei at the moment and also because of the heat of the moment and because at that moment she looked into his eyes. She just went with the flow and finally gave in to her vulnerability which caused the moment. Wowie. For the next hour. The anguish and agony of Voli became present. His beloved was in the arms of another man. That's wrong. Haha, this is a dream, haha, this is not true. Hahaha. This is not real. And from one moment to the next what I saw disappeared. Voli understood. What he saw was a dream. He remembers seeing Rinai at his hotel that same day. Dreams sometimes come true. Let him in. And everything went out and Voli woke up. He noticed that he was in his room with two naked girls. He thought things through and that was just a dream. He knows that Issei is stupid enough to do something to a woman and just laughed arrogantly. The next morning. Ouch. He was really rude to me last night. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.